Hey everyone, the Team Aretuza meta snapshot is out, so I took one of the tier 1 decks, which is the Bran value deck, and I made a guide of it so you get a bit more understanding, and you can also see some gameplay about how this deck is going to be played. And in this deck we're going to look at the card and deck lists, we're looking at the Mulligan, at the general gameplay plan, and then we're heading straight into some example matches. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe down below. And if you want to see more decks, then go to teamaretuza.com/metasnapshot. We update it from now continuously, so regularly visit it and check if there's something changed and to get some deck ideas, And then let's head right into it. Let's start with the cards. The deck has two phases. The one is the discard phase and the other one is the value phase. I'm going to start with the cards from the discard phase because, well, most of them are older cards, so you should know them by now. The first one is actually Bran, and he's our leader. Whenever we use him, we are able to discard a card and draw another one. The good thing about Bran is that also whenever we discard a card, through any means, could be for Bran, but also through cards in our deck, that we damage a random enemy by 1, which can serve as just value. And since we have a lot of discard cards, we actually utilize this value, but it can also help us with removing an enemy, especially if there's only one enemy on the board, because then we know exactly which enemy, because there's only one, the Bran's ability will hit. So Bran is here, helps us to discard, and for all our discard cards, you can actually thin down to 0 and can control exactly what we're going to play. And this is also the goal of this deck is we're going to thin through all our shitty cards, so at the end we can play our value phase and play all the good cards. And we have burn up Bran, draw the cards, discard the cards. With Bran, actually she is going to become a 7 because she deals 2 damage because of discarding 2 cards. Can also help us fix our hand, and typically you want to play Burner after you played all the discard cards, because you can look at the 2 cards you draw and then decide which ones to keep, which is very different from all the other discard cards. So if you have the choice of playing discard cards in order, wait with Burner until you've used all your other discard options to have the best hand possible. Then we have Coral. Coral is pretty good. Coral has Seal, so you can execute your order ability immediately when you put it on the board. And your order ability is discard a card, then draw a card. But as long as Coral is on the board, it's not about her abilities, actually, as long as she's on the board. So for example, if you discard Bran, her ability will also trigger, and that ability is whenever you discard a special card, damage an enemy unit by 2, which means we have a lot of special cards in our deck. We have bullshit special cards, obviously, because as I said, we want to get rid of all them, so at the end we can play our good cards, and those are Trophy Catch, moves an enemy to another row and damages by numbers of the units in a row. It's typically doesn't give you a lot of value, mostly bullshit. So if you can get rid of this, do it. And then we have Spores. Depending on the matchup, Spores can actually get you value. So if there's I know if you play against a Woodland Spirit, or if you play against a Korra and they play an Austral, for example, you actually may want to keep Spores, because Spores restores an enemy unit to its base power. It can give you a lot of value in these matchups. In matchups you don't need it, well, for example, against Nilfgaard, mid-range Nilfgaard, for example, just to get rid of them as well. And then we have 1 Primal Savagery, damage an enemy unit by 2 on death blow, so if you kill it with the damage, it spawns an enemy Bear Abomination, which is a 5-point unit, and it summons to an allied row. So this can give you 7 points of value, but of course you need to have the death blow, you need to enable the death blow. Depends on the situation. Think if you want to get rid of it, but those are all the special cards, and those are the cards, as I said, just get rid of it. And then we have more cards to get rid of it, which is the Tourist of Veteran. It's an 8-point unit, but on deploy it damages itself by 4. So if you just play it from your hand, it's just a 4-point unit. But if you, for example, resurrect it with Sigdrifa from your graveyard, it will be an 8-point unit. So you don't want to play it, you just want to discard it onto your graveyard and be done with it. So this is also one more of our discard cards. And then obviously there's Tourist of Skirmisher. Every time when this unit is discarded, it will be summoned to your melee row. So obviously you don't want to play this, you just want to discard it and get the extra value, making, for example, your burner play worth even more. And there's one more card, and this is Morkvark. Morkvark is the same like Tourist Skirmisher. If it gets discarded, because then it will move to the graveyard, it will be summoned to the melee row and give it doomed. So if you use Burn on or Bran on it, you will get a 5-point unit immediately on the board. If you want, you can also play it from hand, but then you just play the 9 provision card unit for 5. It's only worth it if you actually kill it somehow, so it will, well, it comes back to the board, which you don't want to play. So try to discard this as well, and this also helps to fin. So those are our discard, like our cards we want to discard. Then we have 2 more cards which we can actually discard, and this are our Hamus Kjeld. Deploy, discard a card, and draw a card. Simple. Those are the cards you want to play first. So you typically want to play Hamus Kjeld, you want to play Bran, and then like when you have a good setup, like for example if you draw into your trophy catches or your spores, that's where you then play Coral, and last but not least you're going to play Burner. So that's your discard order, so to say. And after you discard all the shitty cards of the deck, you are stuck with the good ones, and that's how we that's the card we're going to look at now. First one is Swallblood Totem. You play it on the board, you get like two 4-point Swallblood Fanatics. If they go berserk, which means like they have half their life, they will transform into 5-point bears. So this, like if you execute this on like the Swallblood Fanatics, because like Swallblood Totem on order damages adjacent unit by 2, triggers the berserk immediately, means you play a 10/10 card, which is pretty okay, but you can also use the totem for other cards. For example, you can hit Olaf even more, because like if you execute Olaf's order ability, he will boost by twice the amount of damage. So if you can actually use the totem on Olaf, you already get like 4 points out of it, which is pretty okay. And there are other cards which synergize with Olaf, which we talk about later. Sigdrifa's Right summons a warrior from a graveyard to an elite row. That's why we have like for example Tourist of Veterans in there, because if you say play it on the board, they're only 4 points, but if Sigdrifa, they are worth 8 points, so that's what Sigdrifa is for. Sigdrifa is also good with Yuta, and Yuta basically does the same thing which Tourist Veterans do, but she's actually a 12 and she damages by 6. So if you can actually Sigdrifa the Yuta, even better. Yuta also has a bonus ability, because if Yuta is not the highest unit, then she actually stays at 12. So this can actually be a 12 for 8 provisions sometimes, which is pretty good as well. Then we have Knut, and Knut synergizes as well with Olaf, because it damages an elite unit to the right by half of its current power, and it damages an enemy unit by that amount. So basically, if you have an Olaf for 8, you use Knut on the Olaf, you will be able to do 4-point damage, but then immediately execute Olaf's order ability to boost him by 8. So that's pretty good. Worst case, you can also use Knut onto one of the Swallblood Fanatics, because then you will trigger the Berserk as well, and you get free damage, so to say. Then we have Regis. Regis is simple, like a 4-point unit with 4-point damage effect. Good thing is, for example, if you play against Deathwish, if you kill it, it will be banished, so no Deathwish trigger for the unit, which makes him probably one of the best removal cards in the game currently. Then we have Gregoire. Gregoire is a bit of a tricky card, because it damages an enemy with 1, but if it actually does the death blow, or he does the death blow, then he will boost himself by 6 and gains a shield. This means, however, that you actually need to have a 1-point unit on the enemy board, which means that you need to use your discard damage ticks, or Knut, or Regis, and so on, to actually set up Gregoire so he can get himself like the shield and the boost by 10. So he's a bit of tricky to set up, but if you can pull him off, he's pretty good value. And then we have Yalma. It banishes a unit in your graveyard and damages an enemy unit by its power, which is pretty big, because you have a lot of big units in the graveyard. You can, for example, banish an Olaf for like 8 points. You can banish like Veterans for 8 points, or you can even banish a Yuta for 12 points. So that's why we want to have those in the deck, because like with Sigdrifa and with Yalma, having like high body units in the graveyard is pretty good value. And the last one is Gimpy Gervin. Gimpy Gervin is especially good against Kurtel with the Waters of Brokilon, because it damages an enemy and all of its copies by 3. So if they play like the Waters of Brokilon and spawn 2 Dryads, you play Gimpy, totally deny their engines, and you get a lot of value as well. So Gimpy is also like 3 points of damage. Worst case, you use Gimpy to set up your Gregoire again. So Gimpy is a pretty good card. And I mean, he's already like a 6 for 8 and can shut down engines. So yeah, I like him. Last but not least, we actually have 2 cards left. The Swallblood Butcher synergizes as well with Olaf, for example, or the Swallblood Fanatics, because it damages an elite unit by 2. This would trigger the Swallblood Fanatics Berserk, for example, or we get Olaf even more buffs, and then gives an enemy unit bleeding for 3 turns. So this can also help set up Gregoire, because if an enemy bleeds down, you know exactly when you can then play Gregoire to get the 1-point unit. So that's the Butcher. And then really last but not least, we have Brokva. It's an order ability, damages the unit by 1, but it gets charges every time you discard Most of the time this will get removed, so you can use tactical advantage to secure him, for example. If he gets removed, it's not a big deal, but if he stays on the board and you can get a lot of discard unit, like you can discard a lot while he's on the board, then he will get you like even more damage because it basically doubles your discard value. And this is everything about the cards. About the Mulligan. Contrary to most decks, we don't want to keep all the good cards, but instead try to fill the hand with stuff we want to get on the graveyard ASAP. Therefore, we try to have as many discard cards in hand as possible. Hamis Skjald, Coral, Bran. Having a Brokva Hunter, especially on blue, is a good thing as well. And then all the cards we want to get rid of, like our special cards, skirmishes, or Morkwork, and Jurisach veterans. Cards like Regis Bloodlust and Utah are also good round 1 cards. Sometimes you have a lot of good cards, not enough discards. Then you kinda need to reverse the deck idea, playing some value cards in round 1 while hopefully playing your discard phase in round 2. So don't split combos like Knut and Olaf in round 1 just to force your discard plays in round 1. Gameplay wise, we already discussed the 2 gameplay phases. Round 1 is all about value for discards, and round 3 you then utilize your high provision cards, which you have drew quite certain, since we can fin to 0 quite often. Here's some general tips about the deck's gameplay. Coral should be your first discard so you can get additional value from your best ability, and Burner should be your last discard card to have the maximum choice of cards you want to keep in hand. Primal Savagery and Spore may sometimes find good value, so discard them last if you think they will be worth it. Especially when playing on red coins, Spores typically gets you at least 5 value from removing the tactical advantage. Don't always discard skirmishes and Morkwork right away. Keep those if you're already quite ahead in round 1 and postpone a part of your discard phase to round 2. Especially against engine decks, this is very effective because the damage of your discard will get rid of the engines, and Skirmisher and Morkwork will put a lot of tempo on the board. Svalbard Totem, Olaf, Knut, Gregoire and Svalbard Butcher have good synergy with each other. Totem, Knut and Butcher can deal damage to Olaf, Svalbard Fanatics can soak damage from Butcher, and if you use Knut and a Gregoire with a shield, then Knut will deal 5 damage, but Gregoire will not take any damage because of the shield. And now, let's head into some example matches. Dana. Let's see. With limited control potential, so we need to see that we use it wisely, and also like we need to use Coral round 1. That's pretty good for Coral. Burner theoretically can get the veterans. I would like to get a bit more tempo here. Well, it's good to have him, I guess. Okay. Okay. I mean, like, we just started off with. Well, this enables a death blow though, so it's like me. But this would go out anyway, so. Yeah. We could. Let's do this right away. This won't survive anyway. Question is, do we use it in round 1 or round 3? I mean, like, we're probably going to discard a lot here. I disable the death blow now. Brokva Hunter free, like, he needs to use reaches onto him. Is there, like, a trend does only 2 damage, the elves do only 2 damage. He may actually survive a round, we'll see. I'm going to try. Versus the Cercanian Tiger. Good thing he or she's thinking, so that's a good thing. So maybe the death blow prevention. Oh, actually, okay, like we can kill this though. If we call immediately. Oh wow, he's already Danaing. He really wants to get me around 1. Look at, oh wow. But there's no Gimpy, my friend. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is my Gimpy target. This is why I play Gimpy, by the way. Look at this. Kill those strides. That's why I don't play Dana currently so much, because there's so much Gimpy in there, or at least Waters of Brokilon. So if you play Dana, you may think of like exchanging Waters.
Wake up, dwarves!
Okay, he's now boosting for next round. Sure.
After our lady folk.
Oh, let's see if it survives.
I promise you a quick death.
We'll see. Can still Coral after. I need to get rid of this.
Your will go.
Yeah, get locked, sure. I'm better luck on Brock than something else. Okay, let's get rid of Trophy Catch. Gregoire. Perfect. And there goes the spores. And another one target. Perfect. So we theoretically could Gregoire here if we want to. Question is what this card probably does, dude. It doesn't even trigger the death blow. Okay. Let's fin more. Okay, when I burn on now, I could get something good into the graveyard, which is a problem. But we also have to chance, like, it's really risky to burn it here. So we don't necessarily need to burn it here. We cannot Craig Watch just to seal the run. There we go. That's like, that means we probably can pass here. Also, Dana is out, like, that's already like a big thing, right? So, like, getting Dana out in round 1 is amazing. Okay, so Milva will get them to 16, so he needs to play 10 points now. That's pretty big. I'm okay to pass here. So he needs to sacrifice something big, and he already played leader. Or he won't make it. There you go. There's the Sheldon. It's good to have Sheldon out right away. That makes my Olaf safer. And now I can think if he wants to push or not. Like, it gives me the option to play Burn and discard some stuff. Like a veteran. Or a skirmisher, whatever. This is one I keep for next round. I wanna see this Kjald, I guess. What about, yeah, we need the veteran for. I mean, we can also discard it next round. Oh my, I need to stop here, otherwise, like, I'm discarding too many good cards. Because it's already pretty decent. And if he passes, I'm actually keeping this for a burner. Let's get rid of spores here. So we could play veteran and then burn our next round to fix whatever we have. This way we get veteran on the graveyard, which is pretty good. And then we get a 7-point burner, 8-point if we actually wait until there's something on the field. We can start off with Totem, it's a good proactive play. It also enables our Olaf a bit better. Okay, there's a veteran. Trophy catch, where's actually... I want to see Jutta here though. We can draw into Sigdrifa maybe. Well, like how much discard do we have? We have 4 cards, and we have 3 discards. If we draw into the... Well, let's draw into... There we go, now we can fin for the whole deck, right? So let's get proactive here. And as soon as he has something, we start with the discard, so he actually gets the, like, so we get extra value from Bran.
Well, I guess it's gonna take some more patching.
We wanna play Aretuza probably. I mean, he may play Yankon as well. Let's play this into Trophy Catch. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to Aretuza, I guess. And there we go. No engines for you, my friend. You don't want to see engines on your side.
I'll feed you to the crows.
Well, that was better this than the other one. Okay, we can kill this as well. We're just going to go more quick. We're going to like wait with Death Blow as long as possible.
Don't you pester me.
There we go. Still no Death Blow enabled, which is fast. Good for us. We're winning with this as well. We probably want to play them those though, but if they can eat some damage before we turn them, why not? And then we're probably going to discard those two and like promise average we will actually keep. Yeah, I don't care. So, Jutta, I mean like, what do we res a veteran, and Yalma we can also like use a 4-point card, so it's not a big of a deal. Or we just stick for this choice in veteran, it's fine. Okay, let's wait. Crashing Trap will probably be pretty good for him, so we probably want to use it here. Sure, we do that. That means at some point we make... well, at 5 it will be to 12, so like Yuta... we can't play Yuta like this, I guess. Except we make Olaf the biggest unit, which we can do. Can't play Olaf right now. We play him here, I mean, then he gets like even better. What do we do with you? I don't know. I think it's not a bad idea to do this. Whatever he plays now, we'll kill Knut, I guess. And then we have still Hjalmar. Knut is currently doing 4 damage. Oh shit, this was a mistake, we should have played here, now we can't play. So Knut will now only do 3 damage. Well, okay, sure. It won't, well, okay. Sure. Didn't do too much difference, so... there we go. We're going for 3. And then we're going for Olaf, and now we actually are able to Yuta. Which is important. It's lucky that no one plays Scorch right at the moment. Especially if he plays Dragon, I don't think he plays any like high unit removal. Igni on that, like Igni Scorch, stuff like this, I mean it's pretty hard for Vision Curse, but if you can line them up in the current meta, like...
Some things
oh well. No! Why? Why do you do that to me? Now Yuta's the highest unit again. I hate you. Like, well, we can just like play veteran for now. There's nothing like bad at the moment. Maybe can enable the primal savagery somehow. So next unit probably will be killed. Or it's the crushing trap. If it's crushing trap, we want to play something here. Well, it's units, or like this is count as unit for the crushing trap. Well, actually, never mind. It doesn't matter at all. Huh, what to do with Yuta though? What to do with Hjalmar? I think we can get like a lot of value out of Hjalmar. So, okay, or like this. Value Bran versus Henrietta.
Speak your mind.
Let's see if this is mid-range or if this is some assimilate create thing. Oh, that's actually not bad. Amos Kjeld. Well, we can go for veteran. Krigor is probably not bad. Swallow Totem is okay. Let's see what we get from them. Question is, do we... Actually, let's get rid of the veteran. So now we're talking. That's getting better. Let's keep this. So first round is basically getting like the discards out and like getting value on the board with discards. And then what we do afterwards is then we're getting value on the board by value with cards like Rigua, Yuta, and so on. Okay, solid opener. Solid opener. Let's go with Skjald. There's Smurkwork, solid 9 points, and like 1 additional 10. There we go. And like we got a lot of special cards here, and we can even like discard a trophy catch with a Bran. I think it's now crawl time. We want to kill that probably. With a bit of luck we can. So let's see. There we go. Let's discard 1 spore. So much trophy catch. We definitely want to get rid of trophy catch. So there we go. And... well... that was unfortunate. Killed the wrong thing. But hey. We can still kill it. Because we can still discard trophy catch. So... there we go. Pew pew. Clearing the board, thanks Coral. And now he has no engines, which is pretty good for us. He has an infiltrate, I don't care too much. Now I just need to stay ahead. Damage and with 2. I mean, like we can bleed this and then hopefully get a primal savagery out. Let's see. Let's deal 2 damage to him. So we're not going into the 2-point territory. Sure, I don't care too much. We can't get Primal Savage up, but hey, okay. It looks like he's actually doing some. Oh, this is freaky stuff. Look at this.
An extraordinary plan.
That's interesting. I mean, we can definitely play Spores. On the other hand, when we play this, like, what's going to happen is he will definitely kill it off. But then we have Sigtarifa, so I don't know. It's probably not that bad. If we Spore now, then we get 4 value out of Spores. Question is, do you think Yuta will survive or not? Because is there something you can do about her? I think so, that's the thing. So we probably want to discard her at some point and then just stick to for her. Why do we go for Yuta? Then I can only spawn in more Quirk. I mean, 4 for 4 is okay-ish. Let's Spore him, because what's happening is, like, if he bleeds down to 2, what we can do is we can then Promise Savage here. So, like, that's a better setup, I guess. And, like, worst case, like, we can't play to the last card because Yuta is not going to be played here. Let's see if we can get a Krigwa. Sure, okay. Wow, he's already using leader. He's really, like, he's really looking forward to win round 1, okay. Wow, he found Grigwa. That's pretty good. Okay, the question here is, like, how much do we want to win this? We can play 2 cards for sure. This is like a 10, and then can we play something else, even like with Infiltrator. So you definitely can pressure him a bit more. Question is, do we want that, or do we just, like, look for those and, like, pass at some point? But I think we can just, like, play on here. There we go. There we go. You can pass now, but then we get less 2. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, we do that definitely. And we can play Yuta for 1. I mean, why not?
So,
there we go.
No one else dares face me?
That way she's in the graveyard and we can actually Sigtari for her. I mean, long round, I don't know, like, what he's playing. That's pretty good. I wanna, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Let's get rid of Gimpy maybe for now. Well, Gimpy is actually pretty good, like, especially if he plays a Simulate, so let's get rid of Krigwa. Now we already have 2 cards we can discard here. If we play into this... But we want to Finn, right? Like, we want to Finn definitely. Worst case, we need to play, like, Yuta or something here. But if you discard everything right now, like, we won't get that much value. We get 7. You can do it in 1 card. Do we care too much, or do we just, like, want to get the full value out of this? I mean, we got, like, all of his stuff. If you get this, for example, it's pretty decent. Typically, I would say, like, we should play here. But with Gimple, like, we can kill his Assimilate stuff. I'll see. By pushing him in round 2, we couldn't have gotten a bit more out of him. We should have probably played round 2. Like, to be honest, like, if you've seen this at home, like, probably play here. So we're gonna discard this for sure. This is something we're okay drawing. Okay, this is 2 cards I want to discard. And the veteran I want to discard 2 though. So do we have we have 1 more in there? We should have pushed 1 2. Okay, there we go. Let's get rid of those and then let's see if we can draw into one of those.
Notice! All roads lead to Nilfgaard.
Another Nilfgaard, yeah, I mean, why not? So there we go.
Don't you pester me.
Let's get rid of the Infiltrator. Yama, that's good. And let's wait a bit, like, Maybe we want to get like another nautical sergeant. Yeah, there you go. That's amazing. That's the target I actually really would like to kill. I can still wait around until we... Maybe. Like, depends like if he is actually able to... And what's the best target? Like, we have Assimilate, which is where Gimpy comes in hand. If he doesn't play Assimilate, like, we could Gimpy right now to deny anything else. But, like, what else would we deny? Unicorns? We just deny this and be done. He plays Portal. I mean, he plays Sheila. I have no idea if he plays Portal or not. This is potentially more valid than... You know what, let's just get rid of the engine. I think that's like... Probably like... One of the bigger threats right now. If he plays like a Portal with two Assimilate units, then... We can't play Portal by the way, because he plays Dodging Sergeants. Never mind, like we're fine. We are fine. Okay, perfect. So now we can actually just keep on discarding. There we go. Infiltrator... Hunter, okay, look at this. I mean, he probably can kill it, but like...
I promise you a quick
Let's
deal.
see. We need to play it now. If you can kill it, which you can, he probably even has reaches and stuff, so... If not, then we get a bit of value out of him. If not, then it's a removal target. It's our only removal target, actually. Let's see. If it's not surviving, well, then let's beat that way.
Let him have it!
Okay, it actually survives. Look at this. Okay, cool. So that means we can now discard Knut. That's good, and that's our two discard options. Pretty decent. I'm pretty happy with this hand now. Okay. And what do we kill? Doesn't matter. Like we want to kill off Roach so he doesn't transform it into slave infantry. And then we probably want to sire. No slave turret targets here. No one. Don't want to have slave turret targets. Sure. Sure. You could have set up Grigora somehow. Question is how we do it now. We have those cards to set up Grigora, even reaches maybe. Let's go Olaf. Next round we could already go Olaf. If he gets a 5, it'd be even better. Sure. Do we trigger him right away? I think so. I mean, like, this would even be better because we don't get... Nah, it's fine. Like, actually, Olaf has the better chance. Do we kill something? Knight, maybe? Why not? Let's trigger it immediately. So Valeva is okay here? Okay, that's scary. We have it free in the graveyard to like use Yalma. For now, I would say let's reach this probably. Oh, sure. I forgot. Reach 2. Okay, let's see what comes now. Is it an Octopus? What is it? Like. Oh. Interesting. So he basically played 2 cards to get like another card out of Enna. We can't play another Grigora. Yeah, that's probably the best choice.
1,000 thunder and sea devils!
No, he knows they have a Grigora. So we have an 8, I don't have a 7. I have a 6 though. So how to set up Grigora? Should have probably played Grigora sooner. We have an 8 Demian, which we can kill with Yalma. I'm sure he doesn't play Igni, no one plays Igni right now, so... Let's row stack. Like row stack. Let's put her on the back row. There's the Octopus, that's why I kept Yalma. I mean... And then Damien has a problem, well it is like that, I mean... What can we do?
On crate!
Die, Octopus, die. I'm sorry. Well, no death blow for you, my friend. I'm sorry.
The Nordlings' hatred for us.
Well, we don't even need to play him. Look, value is overvalued. We overwhelmed him already. Nice. Thanks everyone for watching the video. Subscribe if you want to see more Gwent content, especially my in-depth Gwent guides going live on weekends. And don't forget to check out my Patreon page where you can support this channel and get cool rewards in the process. My Twitch times are Monday to Thursday starting at 2 CET. See you on stream.